Welcome to Doak Campbell Stadium, where Florida State is a 39-17 victor against Virginia Tech. Welcome into the Warchant Wrap, presented by Vitamin Energy. Our friends at Vitamin Energy.
Well said.
The Noles needed a little Vitamin Energy in the second half.
Second quarter. They absolutely did. I don't know what happened. I don't know when they took their Mood Plus, but they must have taken it about 8 hours before that second quarter, because it really failed them there in the second quarter. But yeah, Warchant BOGO, right, Aslan? Warchant BOGO.
That's the promo code.
That means buy one, get one, all scrunched together. No space. Warchant BOGO.
At vitaminenergy.com.
Promo code, yeah.
Yeah, weird game. Florida State, first of all, thank goodness for Trey Benson.
Yeah.
Because that could have got a little dicey there. Florida State gets out to a 22-0 lead.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech climbs back in. They get the opening kickoff to start second half. First kickoff return against Florida State for a touchdown since 2004.
You know who did that?
A minute.
Can you remember?
I do not remember.
I think it was Clemson.
All right.
I can't remember who it was, but they had a guy that was really Stovall, maybe. But they had a guy that returned a kick for a touchdown.
So it's been a long time, but they cut the lead to 22-17.
17, there you go.
And then Florida State, Trey Benson breaks off a long touchdown run. Defense gets a stop. And Florida State ends up putting it away, but it doesn't really feel like a dominating performance.
It doesn't, but it was.
Three quarters were dominant, but it doesn't really feel that way.
Yeah, it was an awful second quarter.
Yeah.
But what I thought and what I wrote about in the column is the one trait this team had not shown yet. It's shown it could bludgeon an overmatched team in Southern Miss that was just getting a paycheck. It also shown it could come from behind like it did against LSU and Clemson. What it hadn't shown was against an inferior opponent, when you get a big lead and then you just you just leak it away, you can rally back and dominate when you need to dominate, and I thought that's exactly what they did. Once they got, it was 22-17, it was dicey. Things weren't going well, and you just lost Johnny Wilson on the play before. So Trey Benson's run to go up by 2 scores, I think was all right, now let's resettle, refocus, and go dominate. Virginia Tech didn't score again. In fact, Virginia Tech only scored 10 points on the defense the whole game. The defense was fine. The defense was better than fine. That's a good performance. And the offense scored almost 40. So it's not like you can say they didn't do well either. It's just that second quarter made it seem closer than it was. But I thought for the what am I thinking of, Ira? What word am I thinking of?
Big picture, maybe?
Sure, whatever. It doesn't matter. For the large portion of the game, Florida State was the much better team and played like it.
Yeah, we'll get back to the second quarter. We got time to get back there, but we'll start off with the first quarter. Man, that was incredible.
I didn't even drink a lot of vodka today.
Not yet?
Not yet. I mean, I drank some, but not enough for that.
The first quarter, I think Florida State outgained Virginia Tech like 200 or 108.
196-6.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
196-6.
Up 22-0. Everything they wanted to do worked perfectly. And they ran the ball well.
Yes.
And Jordan Travis ran the ball some. So that first quarter, again, gives you an idea of what this team could be.
I think so, and it was good to see. I think, again, Jordan ran well. Yeah. Jordan had some big runs. He's got to get – we talked about this in the press box, that where he goes in the middle of the field and then ducks real quick, that is a penalty. He got a kid kicked out of the game. He doesn't want to get hurt doing that, and that's a good way to get hurt is to dive down like that so suddenly. Got to figure that out. Got to figure out how he's going to run. Is he going to be a runner that tries to get extra yards? Is he going to go down too soon? Because Lord knows this side judge, if he starts even thinking about sliding, he's marking it back 9 yards. But yeah, I thought the running game was the best development of the game. Of the game was seeing what the running game did, because it hadn't done that. It only run for 200 yards once, and that was against Southern Miss. Virginia Tech's no great shakes defensively, clearly, but to run for 280 yards for your star running back to have 200 yards and 2 long touchdowns. Was really good to see, and I think a lot of that is they knew that Jordan would pull it. Jordan showed it early that he might keep it, and yeah, it was just. And when you think about it too, Ira, you played the whole second half essentially without Johnny Wilson. You played the whole game without Jaheim Bell. I think he was in there on 3 plays.
Handful of snaps.
Those are 2 of your 3 biggest weapons. Keon, I think, had 3 catches, and you put up 40 points in an ACC game. So all things considered, again, a solid, very solid win over an outmatched team, but a very solid win, and you almost covered. Without the kick return, Ira, they cover.
I like that Trey Benson gave a lot of credit to the offensive line and the receivers blocking downfield. I'm not sure really there was a whole lot of receivers running. I mean, he just outran their secondary. I mean, Trey Benson, we've talked about how fast he can be.
Yeah.
That was something else. That last one, I thought the dude had an angle on him, and he just turned on.
Just
turned on the afterburners. What happened?
I don't know, man. You had vodka too.
Turned on the afterburners, and he was gone.
Yeah, that was really impressive. I thought the first one was a really impressive run too, where he just kind of Heisman the guy that was coming up on him. When he gets going and is running full speed, that body type you bounce off him. You do not bring him down typically. He is a big, strong dude, and when he's running fast, and he's very fast, that was one of the things he really lamented starting this season. Was last year, as good a year as he didn't have a lot of big runs. He didn't have a lot of home runs, or any really over 50 yards. Those were two huge ones that, again, might just get this thing rolling a little bit. On
the other side of the ball, Jared Verse had a couple of sacks, which was good to see. Coming into this game through 4 games, Jared Verse only had a half of a sack.
Right.
Mike Norvell said he'd been playing great these last 2 games. He thought it was too good of games as he's played against Clemson and Boston College, but he didn't have a lot of production to show for it. Today he got the production and big plays. Yeah,
those were 2 really big sacks, and he was in the backfield a lot. And that kid's a tough kid to bring down, and he got free a couple times, and he almost, if he converts that 4th down, it's a game. The 4th and 22 or whatever when he ran for 21 yards, but he didn't. He didn't get. They pushed him out, and he had to run because they pressured him so quickly. It was just good to see. And I don't remember them dialing up anything blitz-wise. They basically just rushed 4. And again, you can wring your hands about the defense, I guess. But, they gave up 10 points.
Right.
They gave up 10 points, and the best thing that they did was come out early and give him they were on him 22-0. Like I think they got 3 straight 3-and-outs, which is something you had not seen at all this season so far. That was really good to see to go along with the running game.
And on their first scoring drive, they should have had an interception on the sideline. Azaria Thomas makes an incredible interception on the sideline. They call it back because Byron Turner allegedly landed on the quarterback.
Did you like Norvell's response to my question?
Well, I also like that Norvell said he wanted an answer from the officials about that call. He wasn't really listening, though. I watched that conversation. It was just a lot of Mike Norvell yelling.
But I guess what I would say if I was Norvell in that moment, and it looked like he might have been saying that, and you guys, if you've seen the replay of the hit, he's tackling him. What's he supposed to do? He didn't and also the quarterback is as big as Byron Turner.
He is.
So he tackled him to the ground, which is what you're supposed to do. Like when Jared Verse tackled him, he landed on him. I mean, he didn't try to land on him. He couldn't disappear after he hit him. What is he supposed to do to not land on him? Do a backflip over him? Or a cartwheel? I don't know. And then also, they were up 22-0. And look, this is something that they need to get better at for sure. They were up 22-0. They got another stop, another one. And then they have what should have been a pass interference on Ja'Kai Douglas on a 3rd and long that would have kept that drive alive. They didn't call it. He was yanked to the side. Right. They didn't call it. And then you had that crazy play after that, like you said, an incredible interception by Azaria Thomas. Then they kind of let that, steamroll into 17 straight points. Like, you're allowed to overcome adversity a little bit better than they did in that second quarter. But again, unlike the Boston College game where they were up 31-10 and gave up 19 straight points and never did anything, never could regroup. They really regrouped and kind of took control of the game in the second half.
So after the game, we asked Mike Norvell if he felt like maybe they lost their edge, because that was the storyline at Boston College when they had that big run. They get up by 20-something points. He felt like they lost their edge. They got comfortable, and that's what allowed BC to get back into this game. Virginia Tech got back into this game, but he felt like they never really lost the edge. They just didn't play cleanly. They had some penalties. They made some mistakes. Had a couple of bad calls go against them.
Well, and I think
probably agree with that.
He wouldn't say that. I don't think he would say this, but I think he's like, man, those bad calls screwed up the whole game. He even said, like, if they don't make that call, that game's about to go a whole different direction, which it would have. They would have been up 22-0 with the best interception in Florida State history have just happened. And I know I'm prone to hyperbole.
It might be a little bit hyperbole.
Buddy, did you see what he did with his feet?
The best interception in
the
Florida
most
State
athletic
history.
interception at a Florida State. I know.
They've had
more
a guy,
athletic
Deion Sanders,
Lee Corso, Burt Reynolds.
I mean, they've got guys with gold jackets who played defensive back in
Jalen
multiple.
Ramsey's
Leroy
pretty good
Butler.
too. I get it. That interception, what he did with his feet to leap up and then land like he did, it was incredible. But it got nullified because Byron Turner did not disappear as he sacked the quarterback. And then on top of that,
pick sixes in the big house.
No, I'm not saying more important. I'm just saying sheer athleticism. It was an unbelievable play. But I think he thinks that they got screwed out of a 58-3 romp in the. But again, that goes back to, okay, you had a couple calls go against you. That doesn't mean you give up a 40-yard run to the quarterback up the middle, or you let the kid get outside for the 5-yard touchdown. But you can't get too mad at the defense. They give up 1 touchdown in 60 minutes. You'll live with that. If they continue to play like this, like they've played, I know they're not 21 Georgia, but if they continue to play like they've played through these first 5 games, if you don't win a championship, it won't be because of the defense. If this offense starts playing like it's capable of, and we saw more signs of it today, that you have the makings. This defense is good enough, and I thought it proved it again.
One of the cool things about this game, I think that it's a little bit of a deep cut probably.
The flyover.
But the young guys getting in, especially Conrad Hussey. I mean,
yeah,
you see
man, how about that?
special
That was a real part of the game. But that was also
yeah.
that game was still in the balance when he did that. It wasn't just the fumble he forced. How about my man? The play you're talking about, the closing speed on the little bubble screen was insane.
Yeah, we haven't seen probably haven't seen a lot of Florida State DBs. I mean, and I like Renardo Green. He's played really well. Secondary's had some good moments, but man, that was different level. And he's only a freshman. And there's other freshmen in that defensive backfield, and Blake Nicholson, who have a lot of talent as well.
Nicholson played a lot more than I thought he would play. But again, they were playing when the game wasn't on the line. I thought Norvell was pretty astute when he talked about this. He was like, look, I'm not playing somebody. If somebody plays in a game for us, they're playing because they can win a game for us now. This isn't a feel good, try to get you on the field to make you happy. We don't do that here. So the fact that Hussey and Nicholson were in the game when it mattered, in the fourth quarter, when the game was still relatively in doubt, says a lot about what they think they're going to be. And you saw what Hussey can be. It's one play, it's a flash, but holy moly. And then the strip, making plays. Dude's making plays. That's good to see.
It might be the best thing that could have happened again, though, where you talk about you get a convincing win. You won by 20-something points. You don't cover, as you said, but there's still plenty to work on. And you got some guys back healthy. Robert Scott played. Kentron Portier played. Ja'Kai Douglas played. So you're getting some guys back healthy. We'll see what Johnny Wilson is after the game. Mike Norvell said they didn't yet know how long Johnny was able to walk into the locker room after halftime for the injury, so it looks like he got shaken up, but it didn't look like a long-term injury. We'll have to see.
It didn't look like it was a knee or an ankle or a leg or something, but you don't know. You just don't know. You need him, though, because he's a big weapon.
But you got some guys back in healthy, and also I think the nice thing about a game like this, again, is you didn't look so good where you can just puff up your chest. I mean, Jordan Travis was pretty adamant after the game. We got to stop talking about playing a complete game and actually go play a complete game.
But also, I wrote in the column, I don't know how people feel after watching that game. You should feel good. You cheer for a team that's 5-0. You know what? I'm taking these off. I'm tired of adjusting the glasses. I'm tired of it. I'm just throwing them down. You should feel good that you're 5-0, and you should. But it's like, you still haven't played your best. That's fine. But what they did today, what could they have proven today if they'd have beaten Virginia Tech 50-6? People would be like, oh, big deal. You beat Virginia. It would have been great to see, sure.
It would make people feel good.
But what does that mean moving forward? Nothing. It really doesn't. I don't think it means. People
want to see some killer instinct. They want to see some.
Right, but I thought you saw it twice today. I guess that was my point. And then you saw a dead man instinct there in the second quarter where they just flopped around like a dead fish. Let's get rid of the dead fish instinct. But I thought the killer instinct was there twice. You jumped on an inferior team, 22-0. And then they come back with some nonsensical calls and some not great play and some sacks that you took. And then 22-17, you showed the killer instinct again to put them away. That's why I think it is something to build on. This was not just a ho-hum, you got through it, whatever. I thought they started well, and I thought they finished well. The second quarter was gross.
People want to cover, buddy. Can they get a cover?
No lie.
Can they get a cover one time?
I mean, you could have kept Benson in the game for a couple more series, maybe.
We got plenty of coverage at warchant.com. Aslan's got videos up from all the post-game interviews. Your column will be up soon. We'll have plenty more coverage coming over the next day or two. And vitaminenergy.com is where people need to go. When you're done watching this, go to vitaminenergy.com.
Before you do anything else, actually stop what Ira's saying right now, what I'm saying, and go to vitaminenergy.com.
And what's the promo code?
I can't remember.
Warchant BOGO?
There it is. You nailed it.
Anything you want. The whole supply.
It's all there for you. Buy one, get one.
Talk to you next time.